This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Many of us, even before the insurrection, were ringing alarm bells about the radical right in this country, the militant right in this country, the organized network and sometimes unorganized network of militia types, of separatist types, of the Three Percenters, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the disparate network of satellite organizations that share the same kind of ideology about destroying the United States federal government, bringing it down. You got the Boogaloo movement. There's all kinds of white supremacy and white supremacist adjacent movements in this country. I talk a lot about being raised in northern Idaho, in a white Christian nationalist household, of holding these groups with some sort of elevated level of respect. When Randy Weaver went down in northern Idaho, he was a man to be admired, even though he was a white nationalist. When Waco happened, it was all Clinton's fault. And look, absolutely, there were problems on the ground relative to overreach by the federal government and law enforcement, but that's a law enforcement issue that is built in. When you give people outsized levels of power and influence over their fellow citizens, you're gonna have abuses, and we need to crack down on that. But it's not a general issue with the government and tyranny and Social Security numbers being the mark of the beast and all of the insanity that surrounds these groups. And then we saw the insurrection. And I'm going to get to this clip. This is a clip of some nut outside of supporting Donald Trump and talking about how his family has shed their blood. Every time he talks about his grandpa, his voice goes into this fake, I'm getting ready to cry about how much respect and love I have for my alleged grandpa who gave his blood during some conflict. The guy never says he gave his blood. He never served, but it's a badge of honor for him, apparently, to brag about how his family in the past did. He's a typical patriot, like so many others. But I want you to listen to the things that he says, not just how stupid he is, not his goofy wraparound sunglasses, not his stringy straw hair, not the fact that he looks like he just got off of a 2-month meth bender. Don't look at any of that. Listen to the violent rhetoric. Listen to the threats of civil war, of taking up arms against his fellow citizens. Listen to that. Because he is imitating, mimicking, parodying, repeating the same types of talking points that we heard prior to the insurrection and in the months and now years after. Watch this.
A lot of my family blood spilled for this country. I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm not. I refuse. I did 19 years here as a federal agent in Dade County. I'm just not going to let this country go to waste. And right now it's going to waste. Well, if he gets indoctrinated, January 6th is going to look like a playground. It's going to look like a playground. From the inside voices that I hear from all the militias and everything else, it's going to be a playground. But if they want to fight, bring it. I mean, I watched Kamala Harris in Orlando. I watched Antifa throw bottles, spit on my child, throw stuff at us. They told us to refrain ourselves. Really? Okay, but it is what it is, you know. This country's so left right now, but we got to bring it back to the right. We got to get right on the right path. We got to bring everything back. If we don't, we're going to crumble. We're going to be a third world nation. You know? We have to stand up for that flag. We have to stand up for our beliefs, and we got to put God back in this country. If we forget about him, he's going to forget about us. And right now, we're forgetting him and we're forgetting Israel. We forget both of those. Read your Bible. Read your Bible, because there's a lot of boys like me that are ready. All we need is an order. We're ready. I believe everything that indictment said, but the proof is in the pudding.
So thanks to that Twitter user, I put their handle on the video there. This is dangerous rhetoric. I mean, do I think this particular dude is a threat? No, I think he's a goof. I think he's a moron. I think he's saying refrain rather than restrain. He says indoctrinated rather than indicted. I mean, this guy is nothing, I believe, to be worried about. But there is a network of individuals out there who are ready to take up arms, who are ready to turn this new, like insurrection part 2, into a playground, as this idiot talks about. He's listening to inside voices. I was a federal agent for 19 years. No, you weren't. A lot of buzzwords, including that read your Bible. If we don't follow this flag, get back to God, support Israel, read your Bible, read your Bible. What are you talking about? Also, let me say this. These people, when you hear someone talk about Joe Biden being so far left and that our country is so far left, you should challenge that. Under no metric, under no system of measurement is the United States a leftist country. People within hundreds of feet of where I'm speaking right now are hungry and homeless. If this was a leftist country, they would be taken care of. We have children in this nation in droves that languish in food insecurity, poverty, the income inequality, the divide between the haves and the have-nots. You don't see those things in leftist countries, in true socialist countries where they have a robust social safety net. So for this guy, this clown shoe, to call Joe Biden the leader of the left, it's just nonsense. But you can't expect facts when you go to a troll who just stepped out from under the bridge, just enough time to stop sniffing for 5 seconds. This is the movement in support of Donald Trump. This is the armed movement in support of Donald Trump. This is the faction of Americans who are ready to give of their freedom to be arrested for domestic terror offenses for Donald Trump. Just give me the order, me and my boys. Antifa spitting on my kid. In a longer version of this interview, he talks about how his kid is a Proud Boy, his child. He makes it seem like he had his 7-year-old daughter with him and Antifa was spitting upon his child. He's talking about, ostensibly, from the other sections of the interview that I've watched, he's talking about his full-grown son, who's a Proud Boy, who was hanging with Enrique Tarrio, the convicted of seditious conspiracy traitor to our nation. And these people are out there in droves right now in Miami in support of Donald Trump. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, as always, absolutely, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. You can also mix it up in the comments. That helps to juice up the algorithm. YouTube will then suggest my content to new listeners, new viewers, and that would be great. If you want to help support my work other than watching, other than subscribing, you can click the join button below, become a channel member. You can click the super thanks button below, or even better yet, you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Follow me on social media. I'd love to see you there. I'm at Dollemore. I hate being the guy who always says it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I'm going to be honest, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think there will be violence at some point, maybe not today. But I think these low information rubes are going to get fed up with waiting, and somebody's going to call the order, and the inside voices are going to speak, and all of this nonsense is going to come to fruition. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. God, it was awesome if I'm wrong. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for your engagement. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.